is my line, and I'm here with my friend Lisa Murray, and we're gonna talk about the pleasure of creating money and doing the work you love. Good morning, Lisa.
Hi, Melon. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. It's a little early.
I know.
How are you? Where are you in the world?
I'm in Oslo.
Cool.
Oslo, yeah.
Nice, 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 nice. Yeah. So, you're coming in. You're coming to Amsterdam next week, and yeah, it's like we've been talking about creating and setting up up an event, and we came up with something really fun and sparkly, and I wonder if we could talk a bit about that.
Yeah.
And first of all, something that I think is so cool about you is that you're a business blissologist.
Yeah. I love using that term because people are like, what? Business and bliss in the same sentence? And yeah, for me, business has always been fun. Like, I've always loved working. And people look at me like, you're strange. And I'm like, oh, yes, that's probably true. And it's like I don't do business how most people do business. I never have. And when you're willing to do it in ways that are fun for you, then truly it is fun. It is bliss. It's one of those things that, we've learned to do business in really boring, static, staid ways. And actually, like I wake up every morning and I'm happy because I get to do things that I love.
Wow, like that is such an alien thing for so many people that I see do business, especially going around in the Netherlands at the moment. So let alone what that might be, worldwide. Is there is there anything you can say about that?
Yeah, well, it's not just something in the water in Australia. You can have it too. So,
How's it
yeah.
better? And bliss with creating money, that is like like such a um um unexplored space for so many people, and especially people that start smaller businesses.
Yeah.
Like I see people like kind of like hoarding whatever they can get, and it's like with the sense that there's never enough. And I wonder, it's like, is there anything you can talk to about that, or how that can become more blissful?
Yeah, for sure. Because, I've been through the ups and downs of this myself quite a few times now. And it is really interesting because the one thing I've seen that's made the biggest difference is to be willing to be continually creating. Because most people, like, I created something, it didn't work, I'm a failure. And that's the set of conclusions that they come to. And
Yeah.
for me, it's like, oh, I created something, it didn't work how I expected or would like it to. What else can I create? And
Hmm.
just the difference between those two points of view, that creates so much for me. Like, I travel around a lot, as you know, and it's not like I set up my trip before I go and I'm there and I just follow the plan. The plan is never, well, we can try that. We have tried that. It never works that way. It's really this thing of, okay, I wake up in the morning, what can get created today? And, so I'm always changing what I'm doing and always seeing what else I could create that would be a contribution to what I would like to have happen. And I think that spontaneity and flexibility that I'm talking about, most people have taught or learned that you create a business plan and you follow the plan and you'll be successful. And the world we live in, it's moving too fast for that. Like think about the last time you made a choice to do something. It was probably like maybe an hour or two or a day or two before it. And a lot of people are expecting that, 6 months out, people are going to plan everything and choose something. And it's like, it just doesn't work like that. So you've got to be willing to be really flexible and really spontaneous and really asking a lot of questions about, well, what can I create here? What's actually possible? Because what's possible and what you would like to create could be two different things. And it's really funny because I ran a workshop in Oslo yesterday called Turning Your Content into Cash. And I had this really funny idea that I would write a playbook for it and we would, like go through the playbook. And none of my other Creativity Lab classes have really any structure at all. They're really like, I'm there, I'm present with the people in the moment, what's possible. And yesterday, the playbook would not be written. It just was not ready to be written. And so I showed up at this class. I'm like, well, we don't have a playbook, but apparently you're going to show me what you'd like to know, and we're going to go from there. And I'm actually going to write the playbook after the event so that they've got good notes from it. And this is the thing of, if you didn't function in business from conclusions, how different would it be?
Yeah, that is like, I mean, it's so different to be in business and functioning from the question. And if you look at like bigger entrepreneurs, they most like most of them do that. And then if you look at the smaller businesses, there's like roadblocks all the time. So what would it take for that to change? And I wonder what we can contribute as well with Tuesday night. And
Yeah.
what one thing about creation in general, it's like so many people have this image or this energy around creation of that it's like a little homey or like artwork.
Yeah.
Or can you talk a bit more about how you see and perceive creating and
Yeah,
create?
for sure. Yeah. So the thing is, yeah, a lot of people think, oh, creative. Well, first of all, creativity and creation are two different things. So let's be clear about that. And what I look at is creation is what you do to bring something to fruition. And that can be energy, it can be something very tangible, it can be a whole lot of different things. Creativity is the way you do it. So creativity is the difference that you be. It's the bringing something to fruition that has maybe never existed before. It's the uniqueness. It's all of those sorts of things. And a lot of people think, oh, creativity is about, art class at school. No, it's not. I mean, some of those things can be useful to get your mind to stop its very linear logical process that it's been trained into. Like yesterday in class, I had colouring in books. And so during the class, people would colour in as they were thinking about things because it actually turns on a different part of your brain. And so it was really fun. It was just this thing of, their choice whenever they wanted to just colour in or writing down the words of the ideas that they were coming up with. And so I would not exclude that fun, playful part of it because it actually does create something. But when you're talking about creativity and creation in business, it really is about seeing what you would like to create that doesn't exist in the world yet, that would make a difference that you would like to make. And for a lot of people, they think business is about copying someone else's good idea. And I see this over and over, and it's like, well, you can do that, and it may or may not work for you because when most people create something, what's the magic in it is actually their own energy, their sense of what this is, their way of expressing it. And so it's like when I see people in business like looking for a formula or looking for, oh, this is the way to do it and you'll be successful, it's like, well, that was the way that those people were successful, but you have to bring you into it. And that's what I see is missing a lot, is people not willing to really bring themselves into it. And that is actually the joy of business for me because when you meet me, whether it's for social or for business, I'm pretty much going to be the same person. And a lot of people go, oh, I have to put on my business hat and I have to be serious. And I'm like, no, not really. What if you could actually have the pleasure of it? What if you could just enjoy the energy of creating? Because so much of the time people have this thing of, oh, creating, I hate it, it's not much fun. And I'm like, well, it is if you're just you and you're being you and you're moving something forward that is interesting to you,
Yeah, and that is like totally tapping into doing the work you love.
Yes.
Because how many businesses are actually working or functioning from what they have decided is the right thing for them to do to make money or to make money. That's not even creating money.
No, it's working hard to earn it. Yeah, sorry, it's working hard to earn it. That what you've just described.
Yeah.
And for me, this is an interesting thing. It's the thing we play with a lot in the workshops because it's like creating money has a really different energy about it, actually, because I don't wake up and think, how can I make money today? I wake up and go, oh, can I have some money today, please, universe? And then I follow the energy of what it is that I feel inspired to be or do. And that shows up in all sorts of different ways every day. So it's not like I have a routine. It's not like I have a consistent way of doing things. But what I do is really just look at, well, what's possible right now? What can I be? What contribution can I be? Because a lot of people also have this energy of pushing at you, you know, where they're like, you have to come to my class, you have to do this. And there's this real pushy sort of energy. And I'm like, okay, well, I wonder what I can contribute to people. Like even this, you know, this that we're doing now, that's a contribution because people will go, oh, I never saw business could be fun before. Or I never thought that I could have the bliss of business.
Yeah, darn, what if?
Oh, can you imagine? I always love saying to people, like, can you imagine? Like, first of all, just get the energy of, like, if you really loved what you were doing every day, and then get the energy of, like, if everyone in the world had that, and see how different the world is. And it's like one of my most favorite things to do. And for me, actually, that is creation. Okay, when I do that, every time I do that, that's the energy of creation because that's the world I would like to live in. So every time I like get a sense of possibility with that, it's like I get inspired to do more things that would create it.
Mm, wow. And you talk a lot about energy
Yeah.
and business. How does that relate? Or how
Well,
does that work?
yeah, well, you know, everything is energy. Like, and you know, when people say, I don't believe you, well, you know, if you walk into a room and someone is angry, are you aware of it? And, you know, sometimes you can tell even before you walk into the room. And so it's like we are aware of energy because anger isn't something that's like, you know, it doesn't have I am angry written across someone's forehead, right? It's literally this thing of, okay, there's something going on here. And so people are very used to picking up on those sort of really blatant, intense energies. But there's also a lot of more subtle energies. And, you know, like Gary Douglas from Access Consciousness calls it like the whispers of the future. And I love that term because it's really this sense of tapping into, well, if I wanted to create this, what would I have to create now or be or do now that would begin that sort of sense of possibilities? And so energy is an intangible thing, and it's also got a lot of information in it. And I use it a lot to see, well, what am I going to create next and how can that work? So, and we can talk about that a lot more in the workshop as well, because I know people are really curious. They're like, how does that even work? And, you know, I've got lots of fun stories of how it does work. And, you know, and even like, you know, look at this hangout. Like, you and I just randomly started talking on Facebook. And when I say randomly, both of us had a sense that, oh, yeah, there's an energy here that we need to do something with, you
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
And so there really is no random, is what maybe I should say. It's this thing of, oh, there's a possibility here. Let's just see where it goes. And that was only a couple of days ago, and here we are chatting.
Yeah, I know. And I'm so excited because, I've been willing to set something up with you for like, I don't know, 1.5 year already, and now you're here and we get it going. So
Yeah,
yeah, how does
exactly.
it get better than that? And then, creating money with energy, uh,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
what else is possible there? It's like the difference in energy where people create their money from. It's like,
Yeah.
could you talk a bit about all those different energies and like choices that they might have available they're aware of or not?
Yeah, let's do that because, you know, one thing I've noticed, like, and I've had times in my life where I've had lots of money and times where I've had nothing. And the one thing I've noticed is that, well, actually, there's not the one thing. There's about 1,000 things, but let's just start with one thing. Um, Firstly, like, money, the creation of money very much follows the energy that you're being. And so money follows joy, for example. So if you are joyful and happy and enjoying what you're creating, people are going to want to play with you and join you. And if you are cranky and unhappy and always blaming everyone else for what's going on or not going on, then people are maybe not going to want to play with you. And you know, one thing I noticed for me too is that my money flows changed a lot when I stopped making them wrong. Because if you judge what's going on with your money as wrong, then how much ease can that invite? How much bliss can that invite? Pretty much none, you know. So if you ask, but okay, what if this isn't wrong? What's possible to change something here? Then you actually open a little window or door to actually having something different. And you've got to be willing to do something different too, because a lot of the time what I see is people are determined that they're going to make money in the way they've decided, and they won't do or be anything different. And so therefore what happens is they keep creating the same situation over and over again. And like, I've been to Europe twice this year and twice last year. Every single trip I have created totally differently. There is no conclusion in there that this is the way my trips work when I go to Europe. It's like, okay, what's possible with this trip? What needs to be created here? And I change it as I go because, what might have been relevant a month ago has changed because the people involved have changed, or, lots of things can change. And so one of the biggest things I'd say about, creating money is be willing to change and be willing to play with it. Like, a lot of people bring me cash to the classes because it's easier than PayPal. And I think that's really fun. And so I'm really grateful, and I have lots of money in my purse. And it's like every time I open my purse, I'm happy about that. And I smile at the money and I talk to the money and I'm like, hi, how you doing? What can we do with you today? That's fun. And like that energy, and that happens really whether I've got I'm going to say Australian dollars, right? Or euros, so 50 euros or 100 euros or 1,000 euros. It doesn't really matter how much money is in my purse. I would still have that playful conversation with the money, because if you judge it as, oh, that's not enough, oh, that's, what can I do, blah, 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 that's when the joy of creating money actually disappears, because you actually stop the energy. And, it's been, I just love the magic that you can have with creating money. Like, on this trip, I pretty much every trip I've come on, I've not had huge amounts of money in the bank when I left. I've had enough to get started, but I knew I would have to make money as I'm going around. And every time, it just amazes me how the money shows up, And it's because I never go to the conclusion of, oh, I can't make any more money than this. Or, literally today I have probably definitely 2 and possibly 3 private sessions that literally have come about in the last 24 hours. And so this is where it's like, you can't conclude even 10 minutes in advance. You have to be willing to go, okay, what's possible right now? And go with that and see what you can create.
Wow, cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm so excited for Tuesday night, and for everyone who is interested to come there, in the chat box here is a little link to the Facebook event we have created. And when this video will be up on YouTube, you'll be able to read it in the comments below. And shall I just mention the practical details, Lisa?
Yes, please do. Absolutely. Please do.
Yeah, so we are starting, or it is Tuesday, 26th of August, in the center of Amsterdam. For now, we have picked the venue, the Rose, which is at the big Vondelpark. And you'll find more information about that on the Facebook event as well. And we start at 7:30. We go until 9:30, and it's only 35. Make sure I'm not jumbling the numbers around. 35 euros to kind of get a kickstart into pleasure, creating money, and doing the work you love. So how's it getting better? And you have another one-day workshop coming up, right?
On Wednesday in Amsterdam, we're actually doing a workshop on turning your content into cash, which is the one I've run in Oslo yesterday. And, it's really interesting because people have so much that they could make money from and they don't recognize it. And so what we're going to be doing is playing with, well, what are all those things where you haven't even seen you could make money, and looking at ways to actually bring that into fruition. So it's a very practical, pragmatic, we're going to create lots of ideas for how you can actually take what you've got that you don't even know you've got a lot of the time and turn it into ways that people can give you money. Because one thing I see is a lot of people don't have enough ways to receive money, and so they're limiting actually the money that they can have in their life. So yeah, that's on the Wednesday, the 27th, and all the details are at the link as well. So yeah, it's a really fun time coming up in Amsterdam.
Wonderful. So excited to have you, Lisa. And is there any we're gonna close off. We're like around 20 minutes now. Is there anything else you would like to say about creativity lab in Amsterdam.
Yeah, okay. So I guess just one thing, and that is that a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know if I should come or not. They're like sitting on the fence. And what I would say to you is, well, what if you would actually begin to have curiosity about how you could create money, how you could have fun at work? Because when you indulge that curiosity and you actually go into the pleasure of it, like when I say I'm running a workshop, it's not really work for most people. Like mostly we laugh and we play and we explore. And what if you could actually have the experience of creating money in fun ways? Because I had a lady yesterday say to me, wow, she said, I didn't know why I was coming, but now that I've seen how you facilitate, that's why I was coming. And so, you know, you can come for all sorts of reasons, and you're going to get much more than what we write on the webpage. That's what I'd like to say. So thank you, Merlin, for coming and playing with me on this hangout. It's been really fun.
Yes, wonderful. Looking forward to Tuesday evening and how much fun and pleasure with creating money can we create in Amsterdam and beyond.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I'll see you Tuesday.
All right. Bye-bye.